3 Stoic responses to say no gracefully. Mastering money and emotional maturity. Have you ever been caught in that silent pause? The moment right after someone close to you asks for money, and your heart and mind pull you in 2 directions? Your heart says, help them, they're struggling. But your mind whispers, what if this goes wrong? What if you're enabling, not helping? So how do you respond with kindness and clarity? How do you say no without guilt and still protect the relationship? Welcome to Live Stoic. Live Strong, where we trade illusions for truth. Thou his persiplago. Thon, where emotions are felt but not obeyed. Thou his persiplag, where clarity is power and discipline is freedom. This is not just a channel. Thou his persiplag. This is not just a channel. It's a mindset. It's a journey of conscious living. Let's begin. The quiet cost of saying yes. Anna's story. Anna had always believed that helping others was part of being a good person. A friend needs something? She's there. A cousin's in trouble? She steps up. A former coworker reaches out after years? She listens. And when the topic gently shifts from, "How are you?" to, "Could I borrow some money?" she rarely says no. Not because she had plenty, but because she thought that saying yes meant being kind. Over time, the requests grew. Shirir he tuan. Some came with long stories. Some came with guilt. Yolsberg. Most came without any intention of returning the money. And Anna, good-hearted, hopeful, and maybe a little too trusting, gave $100 here, $300 there, $1,200 to someone she hadn't seen in 10 years. At first, she told herself it was okay. That maybe they were just late to repay, that they'd come around. But slowly, the truth became impossible to ignore. Her kindness had become currency, and people were spending it. She watched the pattern repeat. They showed up when they needed money. They disappeared when she needed honesty. One winter afternoon, another message popped up. "Anna, I hate to ask, but can you help me one last time?" Her thumb hovered over the screen. She looked around, at the bills on her table, the savings she dipped into, the stress she quietly carried. And in that moment, something changed. She typed 2 letters. No. And sent it. Not with bitterness, not with shame, but with quiet clarity. She realized she wasn't saying no to the person. She was saying yes to herself. Yes to peace. Yes to boundaries. Yes to no longer paying for other people's silence and excuses. That evening, she made dinner alone. And for the first time in a long time, her thoughts were quiet. No guilt. No tension. Just space. Finally. For her. Because generosity is a beautiful thing. But when people confuse your kindness for access and your heart for a wallet, the most generous thing you can do is close the door. The second story. When they only call after you win. By the time he turned 63, Tom had lived long enough to know that life's milestones don't always come with fanfare. They sometimes come with hidden costs. He had worked relentlessly for years, climbing through the ranks, making sacrifices most people would never see. So when he finally sold his shares in a company he helped grow, it felt like a chapter had closed, with pride and a deep breath of relief. As he posted the update on social media, Tom expected the usual reactions. Congratulations from old friends, maybe a few nostalgic comments. Instead, what came next was overwhelming and quietly unsettling. His inbox lit up, not with heartfelt messages, but with names he hadn't seen in years. Former classmates, far-flung relatives, vague connections from the distant past, people who had never even sent him a birthday greeting, let alone shared in his journey. At first, Tom felt a flicker of warmth. Maybe success had rekindled old relationships? Maybe this was life's way of bringing people back together? But that hope dissolved quickly. Within a few messages, the real intention surfaced, masked in polite tones but unmistakably clear. "Hey Tom, I've hit a tough spot. Do you think you could help me out for a bit?" Tom, a department head at a respected tech company in the Netherlands, had always believed in compassion. He saw generosity not as a weakness, but as a quiet strength. So when the first request came in, he didn't hesitate. He wired $8,660. No contracts, no strings, just trust. But trust, it turned out, wasn't mutual. 8. The promised repayment never arrived. Weeks passed. Months. Tom gently followed up at first, careful not to sound demanding. His messages were read, then ignored. The only thing that returned to him was $660, and an empty silence that spoke volumes. It didn't stop there. As word spread that Tom was doing well, more requests came. The same pattern repeated itself. Messages wrapped in nostalgia, followed by financial requests. And then, when the subject of repayment came up, total disappearance. "I started to see the pattern," Tom said quietly one afternoon. "They weren't reaching out because they missed me. They reached out because they saw an opportunity." The realization was sobering. "I wasn't being seen as a friend," he continued. "I was being seen as a bank account with a pulse." Tom could have fought to recover what he'd lost. He had every right to. But instead, he made a different choice, one that would protect something far more important than money: his peace of mind. He stopped chasing. Not because the money didn't matter. It did. But what mattered more was preserving his sense of self. "Letting go of the money," he said, "was easier than letting bitterness poison my heart." Tom's story isn't a rare one. It's a quiet wound many carry in silence. The pain of giving with sincerity, only to feel used and forgotten. Lending money can be a beautiful act of trust, but when done without boundaries, it stops being a gift and starts becoming a slow, emotional drain. Today, Tom hasn't abandoned his generosity, but he's redefined it. He's learned that support doesn't always have to mean financial help. Sometimes, the most valuable things we can offer are time, guidance, or simply listening without judgment. Those things create connection without cost, and they leave both sides whole. Sometimes, the most generous thing you can give is a boundary. You're not cold. You're not selfish. You're just done bleeding for people who never brought a bandage. Live with heart, but guard it with wisdom, because strength is knowing when to say no. From the bottom of my heart, I want to express my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you, no matter where you are in the world, for taking the time to watch this video. Your presence and support are the driving force that keeps me creating and sharing. No words can truly capture the depth of my appreciation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing. And thank you for walking this journey with me. Life has a way of placing us in these subtle moral crossroads, moments where our compassion is tested alongside our judgment. Few situations bring this tension to the surface, more than when someone we care about asks us for money. It's more than a financial request. It's an emotional ripple. Our instincts nudge us to give, to ease their burden. Yet deep down, reason knocks gently, asking us to pause, to assess, to choose wisely. This is where Stoic thinking offers a powerful compass. It doesn't harden the heart. It steadies it. It teaches us how to help without harming ourselves, how to give without losing our grounding, and how to decline with dignity and grace. Refusing to lend money doesn't have to be cold or cruel. It isn't selfish to protect your household, your boundaries, your peace. It's responsible. And the key lies not in what you say, but in how you say it, gently, firmly, and honestly. 1. Inquire before you deny. When someone asks for financial help, their request is often wrapped in urgency, emotion, and sometimes guilt. It's easy to feel like saying no would be heartless. But a deeper question arises. What would truly be helpful to this person in the long run? Instead of replying with a firm denial, steer the conversation toward their real struggle. Ask sincerely, "What's been weighing on you lately? Maybe there's another way I can support you." This response is powerful. It opens a door, not a vault. It communicates concern without compromising your principles. And more often than not, the person asking hasn't fully reflected on the root of their difficulties. Your question gently nudges them to explore their situation more deeply. And in doing so, they may discover that what they truly need isn't money, but clarity, encouragement, or guidance. Mark Twain once said, "Lending money to a friend is using money to test someone's character." But perhaps even wiser is this: use discernment to test the situation, not just the person. 2. Place the burden on principle, not the person. If the request continues, if they press on, shift the emotional weight of the refusal from you to the structure of your life. Let them understand that it's not about unwillingness, but about integrity to your own responsibilities. Say it calmly, with no apology and no anger. "Right now, my finances are already tied up. Investments, commitments I can't step away from." When you respond like this, you're not rejecting the person. You're upholding a principle. And when your tone is steady and sincere, your boundaries become understandable rather than offensive. It's not a wall. It's a quiet signal that says, "I care. I just can't offer what you're asking for." By this point, we've begun learning how to balance compassion and wisdom in moments of financial tension. But what if the request becomes more emotional? What if you start to feel that refusing might damage the relationship? Or worse, make you seem unkind? We've seen how compassion doesn't always mean saying yes, and that real care sometimes shows through the courage to draw a line with grace. Now, let's go one step deeper, into the heart of boundaries, trust, and lessons learned through hardship. Sometimes, a simple phrase can draw a clear yet respectful boundary. You might say, "My finances are not mine alone to decide. I must first speak with my partner." These few words carry quiet strength. They shift the nature of the request. Not a casual favor, not a spontaneous gift, but a shared responsibility. You are no longer the sole decision maker. Lending money, in this light, becomes a collective matter, one bound by mutual values and long-term consequences. This response is not evasive. It's principled, and it plants a subtle truth. Giving money is not just an act of kindness. It is a serious decision that carries weight beyond the moment. As financier George Soros once noted, "Markets carry risk. Lending should be done with caution." And just like markets, so too does friendship. Relationships are delicate, and trust, once shaken by unmet expectations, is not easily rebuilt. 3. Share the weight of a past lesson. But what happens when the person pushes harder? When they lean in with emotion, with those piercing words? But we're close. Don't you trust me? In that moment, stay centered. Don't argue. Don't withdraw. Let your truth speak for you. You can respond gently, yet firmly. There was a time I lent money to a friend. It was never repaid. It created tension in my family and brought hardship into my life. Since then, I made a rule. For the peace of everyone involved. That is not deflection. It is lived experience. A story. A scar. You're not accusing them of anything. You're simply standing in the wisdom of what life has already taught you. By referencing the past, your decision isn't built on suspicion. It's built on strength, on clarity, on having once said yes and paid the price for it. This is not about turning away from a friend. It's about honoring the limits of what you can give without regret. Aving lana, hayashashigol. Because help can come in many forms. Yurjana. If silver cannot be placed in their hands, perhaps your presence can. Perhaps your listening ear, your advice, or your time is what they need more than coin. And in that quiet offering, there is often greater value than money could ever bring. A Stoic heart does not act from guilt, nor does it close from fear. It listens, it considers, and it answers with calm clarity, balancing compassion with wisdom. You are not cold for saying no. You are strong for knowing when to say it, and gentle enough to say it with grace. To say no is not to turn away. It is to stand firm, with love, with reason, with self-respect. True strength isn't loud. It's calm, quiet, unshakable. Live with heart. Speak with clarity. Give what you can, never what you must. Thank you for your time. If one idea touched you today, come back next time. It may reach deeper. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a quiet moment. See you in the next video.